This episode of Therapist Connect podcast is sponsored by WebHealer, the #1 website provider for private practice therapists. Serving the community for 20 years, WebHealer offers a non-technical and fully supported online platform helping therapists use the internet to grow their practice. Whether you need a website, a booking system, or even a secure email address for your practice, WebHealer can help. Contact WebHealer today via www.webhealer.net and use the coupon Therapist Connect for £100 off their Do It For Me service.
Welcome to the Therapist Connect podcast, a podcast for therapists by therapists.
Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to Series 3 of the Therapist Connect podcast. My name is Dr. Peter Blundell, and I'm here with our Therapist Connect co-lead, Caz Binstead.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Good to be back here again on Therapist Connect podcast, which is kind of your baby, Peter. But yeah, we last had a chat. Must have been, it was almost over a year ago, I suppose.
It was at the start of the first series of the podcast, and I was interviewing you, wasn't I, and about your life and your work as a therapist, which seems like such a long time ago now. So much has happened with Therapist Connect since then. It's quite unbelievable, really.
Absolutely. With Therapist Connect, with life in general, just a lot going on. But I mean, Therapist Connect over that time has just obviously really, really grown. And I suppose it's taken you and I a little bit, it's been a bit of a surprise for us both. And of course, at that time I was because I come on board, and Trainee Talk was our first project, Therapist Connect first project. So that was my kind of main focus at that point. It's nice to be here with a community of, I think we've got over 9,000 followers now on Twitter and about 4,500 on Instagram, which is great, and worldwide as well.
It's absolutely amazing. We've got a fantastic group of volunteers now who help us kind of man the social media accounts, and it's just kind of gone from strength to strength. I suppose we could tell people a little bit why we've decided to record this particular podcast at this particular time. So we have coming up get the dates right, the 6th and the 7th of November. We've got a private practice event coming up on the 6th and the 7th of November, which is a worldwide event. And this is an idea that Caz came up with actually quite a while ago, and it's just coming to fruition now. And so we thought we'd do a little discussion today about that event, and talk a little bit about where that idea came from and what we're trying to achieve with it, just so people could get a bit of a sense of what that's going to be like.
Yeah, definitely. It's really great to have those dates in, coming up quite soon. We are hosting this with our friends at Online Events as well, which is good because it's nice to have maybe a bit more solid technology. People who know me know technology is not really my thing. I like talking on screen, but I like to just rock up and not have to worry about that stuff.
Well, you say that, but I'm the one that's been missing in action at some of our online events because of technology this end. So actually, I think you might have it down better than me, actually.
So this event actually feels really, really important. And the reason why we wanted to do it, I felt so strongly about it, was I'm a private practitioner. We both are, but I guess that's my main focus, and I'm running a full private practice, and I have been for many, many years. And so I've had firsthand experience of what it's been like really being immersed in the world of private practice during this pandemic time. And also being someone who really works in this area. I guess I know a lot about this area in terms of I've in the past run workshops setting up private practice. I have done a lot of work at the BACP, being instrumental in the creation of the BACP private practice toolkit. And also within my role as Therapist Connect co-lead, just hearing from private practitioners about what this, I guess, what this time has been like for people, and about the unique sector that we are actually, and just, I guess, paying a little bit of attention to that. So the title of the conference, well, we saying conference, but it's not really a conference. It's an event. It's a 2-day event.
I think it's because it's over 2 days, So I think that's why we keep referring to the word conference. But it actually is more, and we'll talk about this a bit more maybe, but it more is a selection of different events over the 2 days, all around private practice.
Yeah, that's right. It's really probably going to be much more of I don't know if experiential is the right word, but it's interactive. It's very much, those of you who know Therapists Connect, we're very much about on the ground therapists, less interested in kind of people saying how it is or how it theoretically is and all of that. We're very, very interested in hearing from people, their experiences, and whether that's people working in private practice or people who kind of work with others to develop and maintain their private practices. So this event is called Private Practice 2021, Surviving and Thriving in Uncertain Times. Okay, so the title gives a little bit of a clue really there as to what we're going to be focusing on, because we're all human beings, and we've all had to deal with all the difficulties of the pandemic over this period, and we have been continuing to work as therapists, a lot of us, and continuing just day by day, just carrying on, and I think that private practice holds a lot of the mental health crisis, certainly in my view, a mental health crisis before the pandemic. There's going to be, I think, an absolute peak in that. We're already seeing it in private practice. A lot of people's practices are full. There's a lot of referrals that are coming through. There were figures released around last week around the impact on young people as well. Again, this is not really something, a space for debating around mental health provision or jobs for therapists, but I think that I'll say two things that I really believe to be true and that I've spoken about a lot in my career, which is there's not the jobs out there in our profession, paid jobs for therapists, and a lot of that is because there's not money that's put into mental health, and so a lot of people end up going into private practice. And private practice is really seeing that, people clearly need mental health services, because otherwise our practices wouldn't be being overrun. So in short, we have been holding a lot. And of course, we sit with clients, and sometimes when we're sitting with clients, we might know, they might say something, we might know, oh, I've got experience of that or whatever, but they don't know that we do. Whereas in this situation as well, we've had to adapt because everyone is just it's just one of those things in the room that both people in the room have also been experiencing a pandemic, and all the kind of intricacies that come off that as well. So I think I've probably just rambled there, but there's a lot basically.
But I think what you were talking about there, Caz, is kind of some of the rationale and the reasoning why we thought something. Well, I say we, actually, it was your idea to do this event over the 2 days. And like with all the Therapist Connect events, I mean, obviously the clue is in our name. We want to bring as many kind of therapists together from lots of different backgrounds and perspectives to try and discuss how people have managed to survive in their private practice over the pandemic and beyond, and also what people are doing to help their practices thrive. And I think really appreciate the amount of work that Caz has put into this conference to really bring together as many different kind of therapists as possible to contribute to those events. And I think depends whether we've got the lineup announced at this point when the podcast comes out, but we've got a very, very diverse range of therapists who have agreed to contribute and bring some of their experiences from all different parts of the world to talk about what it's been like to work in private practice and the tips and guidance maybe that people can give that we might be able to share with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been really great. And it really shows, actually, I think what a community can produce maybe when we all come together. To just go with it. I mean, certainly the Therapist Connect community, a huge proportion of the community will be private practitioners. And of course, one of our missions at Therapist Connect is to really try to help reduce the isolation for people in private practice that was there anyway, but again, may have been heightened during lockdown periods and stuff like that. For people we're so grateful for people within the community who share our vision and kind of step forward and say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to be part of this. I'm really, really looking forward to hearing from some people. We're going to have all kinds of different discussions. And as Peter's already said there, so many, a diverse range of people, hearing from so many people. And of course, we also want to hear from you guys, any attendees. We want people to feel like they can have a say, they can, to have a space to reflect on their own experiences. Certainly be the use of the chat box. We'll hopefully have some people popping up on screen if people want to. And we've also got a couple of spaces for just for everyone who's actually watching, kind of type, I don't know, you might call them like networking, I suppose. I'm not a huge fan of that word because it brings up connotations for some people about what that actually means. But I think it's very much about just being able to say, here I am, I'm a private practitioner. This is how I found things, or this is my practice. This is how I work. This is what I work with, and just being able to meet with other people in however you are as a person. We're all different as people. I think that's one of the great things I like that about when we think about referrals in private practice. When I meet a person, I don't want everyone to be like cardboard cutout kind of therapists, and I work with this and I work with that, and it just to be about that. I want to meet a person and say, oh, that person who came across like this. So there's a real, like, I don't know, I like that kind of authenticity in practice.
I think it's really difficult. I mean, we've spoken about this a lot in all the different broadcasts and writing that we've done, that actually being in private practice, I suppose wherever you are in the world, actually can be a really lonely experience. If you're not connected to other therapists, then it can be quite lonely. And where do you have those discussions? And I think then during the pandemic as well, where all of a sudden all therapists were working from home, if they decided to work online. It added that extra element of isolation for people. So I think those spaces, and hopefully if people have been to one of any of our other events, our support groups, our book groups, our other workshops that we've done, they'll know that what we try and create is a safe space for people to kind of talk about what is meaningful for them. And I think particularly bringing therapists together around private practice, I think we could really offer a really nice space for people to kind of share those experiences and get tips and advice and think about how different people have done different things. And I know the Therapist Connect community is so generous anyway. I think on social media, I think there'll be people will be able to share those tips and those things in those spaces. I think the other thing I just wanted to mention was we've had quite a few students when we announced we were doing this event. We had quite a few students commenting saying, "Oh, I'll attend this in future years once I'm qualified and I've been in practice." But we just, as with all of the Therapist Connect events, we encourage any students, if you're interested, come along, and hear how people are working in private practice, even if you're not ready to set up in private practice yet. It's really nice just to hear other people's experiences and to hear what is possible and what you can potentially do if you want to set up in private practice. And just go back to Caz's point, there is a very diverse range of people in private practice. There's therapists working in lots of different ways. So it might be nice as a student to hear some of those experiences and see what might be possible as a private practitioner.
Yeah, really. I mean, yeah, I want to pick up on 2 points actually that you're saying there, Pete. That first point about students, please do. Yeah, absolutely. We love working with students anyway. A lot of my interests in private practice have been kind of trying to encourage students who are thinking about going into private practice to prepare. This is a big part of it. So, often when you're studying, courses differ on this, but there's often not a lot of, they often don't go too much into depth on working in private practice. And it is a very niche area, actually. Some courses don't pick up on it at all. So I know that a lot of the work I've been involved in has been trying to close that gap a little bit to help support people a bit better who are thinking about going into private practice. But, this could be part of preparation if you really are thinking about it. So, yeah, absolutely do come along. And I think the other thing that you said there, Pete, about isolation and when I started to talk to people about potentially taking part in some of these discussions, I felt relieved. I was kind of like, and here I am, I'm co-lead at a very large therapy community, and yet I could still feel that real sense of isolation, actually, because when I was sitting down talking with some people and even some friends who I know, but we were just kind of saying, what's been the experiences of the pandemic and stuff like that. It just felt like, oh, that resonates and that resonates. And, it's not only been me who's felt that, and I just came away thinking, oh, goodness, that's invaluable. If I was feeling that, I really hope that this is going to be of some use to people. We've got a variety of different events, as Peter was saying there. So, yeah, it's 2 days, which is a long time. But, it's pay what you can. So could be great value. We hope that people do kind of stay around and try and do as much of it as they can. But also there is obviously the option to dip in and out depending on your schedule. And we know loads of people, obviously people have been locked in for a long time, so I'm sure people want to get out and about on weekends, but have a look, see what you might want to come along to, and if you can come for the whole 2 days, I think just that being as a group together, that might really be, that could really be something, actually. We'll have a couple of kind of keynote speakers, one of which is me, talking about some of my work, and and obviously just about the conference itself. And we're going to have a couple of interviews as well. So there's real range actually of things that are going on.
We've got quite a few debates, haven't we, and panel discussions. And we've also got a section on integrating research into private practice as well. So as Caz said, I mean, we've covered pretty much every type of possible event that you could have, I think, around private practice. And we also know that everyone takes in information and stuff in different ways. So we wanted to kind of have that variety, really, so people could experience different things throughout the day, and listen to different voices, really. So we're really excited. And it's hopefully it'll all go swimmingly.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, and I hope that it can just be I guess as much of we talk about safe spaces here at Therapists Connect. Now, something that we are discussing a lot, how do you get safe spaces? Can anything ever be entirely safe? All of that kind of thing. But we certainly have an intention to try to create safe spaces. So yeah, within all the discussions and all the facilitation that we're doing on this 2-day event, we hope that people can feel safe, can feel part of a community, and just come along and really, I guess it's a chance to really embody, just completely be with yourself, and reflect, process. What has this time been like for me? I was just going to say also, it's called Surviving and Thriving. And we have had to carry on. We run businesses as private practitioners. We run businesses. So there's all of that stuff. But then there's also, I need to maintain my business. And this is something we will be touching on, new private practitioners who started during the pandemic time. So interested in all of that as well.
There's a lot of topics to cover, and I think just talking about that idea of processing things, and I think being able to do that in a community or sharing it with other people, I think, well, it's important for me and something I valued as part of the Therapists Connect community. So we're hoping that we're going to bring all of that sense of community to this particular event. Just if people are interested and they want to book on, if you're on Twitter, it's currently our pinned tweet, so you can go on there and the link is attached to that. But we'll also put the Eventbrite link in the links to this podcast as well, so people can go there. Or you can look on our website and the link to book will be on there as well.
Okay, well, it's always lovely chatting, Peter. Thanks,
Thanks, Caz. I'm looking forward to hearing your keynote at the event.
I'd better start writing it. Really look forward to seeing people. Thank you. All the best.
Thanks very much, everyone, and I'll see you soon.
This episode of Therapists Connect podcast is sponsored by WebHealer, the #1 website provider for private practice therapists. Serving the community for 20 years, WebHealer offers a non-technical and fully supported online platform helping therapists use the internet to grow their practice. Whether you need a website, a booking system, or even a secure email address for your practice, WebHealer can help. Contact WebHealer today via www.webhealer.net and use the coupon Therapists Connect for £100 off their Do It For Me service.
Thank you for listening to the Therapists Connect podcast. Go to www.therapist-connect.com for more discussions and debates.